Hi, besties. Welcome to my first ever episode of Unprofessional Advice with me. Um, think about this kind of like my digital diary. Kind of wanted to create this space to just kind of had and walk a little bit of my life because life could be honestly crazy, especially as a 22-year-old. A lot of things are going on. People are getting married, people are having babies, or people are literally hitting the fan and things could just get crazy, and I just kind of want to start 2025 trying to do something that scares me a little bit, but it's been a long time coming and it's something that I've been wanting to do. So let's get into it. You can sit back and relax. Think of this as you're literally sitting across from me in my bed. I'm literally doing this at the comfort of my bed right now, and for the listeners right now, um I'm literally sitting in my bed, just having my little journal, keeping some points that I wanted to bring up in today's episode. And let's just get into it. Today's episode, I've titled it Keeping Yourself, quote unquote, Small in 2025. Don't think I'm trying to keep y'all small in 2025 because that's not what I mean. What I kind of mean by that is when you kind of reflect looking back, especially for me, I want to say I reflected back in 2024 and thought, wow, this whole year has been a whole thing of crazy. And what I mean by that is I feel like over time I was low key scared of success. And that's going to sound kind of crazy to some people, but I was kind of scared of success. Like, what if I do this one thing every single day that kind of took me into the next level of what I want with my career? What if I end up being successful? What if that 1% of me, knowing if I put in the work every single day and I ended up being successful, what if that kind of worked out? What if shit works out? Now that part scares me. And I don't know why I realized this over time that it would scare me because my brain for some reason likes to think, and I don't know if it's just us being humans, but we kind of think about it this way. If we end up being successful and I don't know, somehow down the line shit doesn't end up working out and you somehow hit the fan and you plummet all the way back down to ground zero, that's my biggest fear. Kind of going from like being successful to going to ground zero from that. And I think that's a normal reaction for a lot of people, especially when it comes to, I guess, following their dreams and like ending up doing what they want to do. But I would realize over time I would keep myself small and kind of downplay a lot of things that I kind of want to do with my career. Like the other day, I think I realized this. I was talking to one of my girlfriends and we went out to dinner. And I remember we were sitting there and this super nice waitress, she helped us out and she was like, "Oh my God, you guys look so beautiful, so pretty." Like, and I don't know how the topic ended up going to like what we ended up doing, like what careers we were in. And I remember she was sitting across from me and she said what her career was. And then when it came to me and I had to say what I was doing with my career, I kind of downplayed it. I kind of said, "Oh yeah, I work in marketing, like nothing major." And I remember she was like, "Oh, okay." And at that point, I didn't realize I was downplaying it until I think after dinner, and she told me, she was like, "Why did you downplay it? Like, Sarah, like you work in social media. Not only do you have things going on like on your side job, but you literally have a job that you're doing for yourself and you have plans and you're doing all these things and you're good at it. Why are you downplaying it so much?" And in my mind, I was like, I didn't even realize I was downplaying a lot of things that I was doing. And I think I realized this over time. It's a force of habit that I would always downplay what I was doing because I feel like it wasn't something that a lot of people would do. Or in this case, like something that is not really common, especially with my family. I feel like social media is still a very new thing. It's very like uncharted. But especially now more than ever, I feel like it's becoming a common thing. So I don't know. I realized I was downplaying a lot of things. And in this case, I was like, oh my God, I didn't even know I was downplaying so many things until you told me. And I'm glad she told me because now I'm like, I walk differently whenever anyone asks me what I'm doing. And I'm practicing being more grateful in what I'm doing and what I work in. Like, thank God I work in this because it's something that makes me happy every day. And I could have a job that's way much worse than what it actually is. But in knowing that I downplay a lot of things, it kind of forces you to look back a little bit. Because starting from like the very beginning, I'm just gonna give some backstory here. Um, I was originally a nursing major. I went to college for nursing, and I remember a year in, I was very, very unhappy. I didn't want to do this. I knew it wasn't for me, and I felt like I was doing it mostly because of my family and what they wanted me to do, and they somehow couldn't see anything else that I could be doing other than being a nurse or whatever. Point is, I was born knowing I wanted to be a nurse, or so I thought. I wanted to be a nurse. I was a science geek. I loved science in high school, and I was very into that. I knew I wanted to go into nursing, and I was willing to do anything to make my parents happy or my family happy, no matter what the costs were, or so I thought. And I go into college, and I remember I was super unhappy throughout the whole time I was in nursing, and I realized I have to get myself out of this. Have to get myself out of this or I will be unhappy. And that's when I realized, I was like, yeah, nursing is not for me. It's not for me, and that's okay. It's okay for things to not be for you. And especially during this time in your 20s, I feel like you have to be in trial and error when it comes to careers, because God forbid you're in a career that you hate. Like, they could pay you so much money or so little money in the world, but being in something that you hate is something that it's undescribable. Like, it literally makes me so sad thinking how unsatisfied I was doing that because of my parents. And one thing about me is that I'm a very much a people pleaser. And when it comes to that, I will do anything, move the mountains for my parents in order to make them happy. But point is, I changed my major mid-year because I was super unhappy. And I remember telling my counselor, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't want to drop out of college. I don't want to drop out of college. That's all I know. I need to go to school for something. I don't want my parents' sacrifices to come here to be a waste, because that's another thing. I wanted to go to school for myself mostly too, but for my parents too. It's like a joined dream, because they did not come to this country to for me to not have so many opportunities and, not make something out of myself. So that was the pressure in my mind, and I was like, you know what? I have to do something. I have to do something. I can't. I can't. Nobody ever realizes that you have to do trial and error to figure out what you want. But when I went to my counselor, she was like, "Oh, like, you like content creation?" Because I was telling her all these things. I like content creation. I like being in front of the camera, but I also like, doing makeup, selling these things. And then she was like, "It sounds like you." And I was also doing lashes at the time. I have like my own business on the side, which I love more of the entrepreneurial side of the business rather than the art itself. And she was like, it makes sense for you to go into business. Like, why don't you try that out? And I ended up trying that out. And there's so many branches in business. I was like, I don't know if I want to go to business. I don't know if I'm a self starter. I don't know what I want to do. But all I know is I'm not going to do nursing. And she was like, just try it out, do marketing, it's selling yourself. And there's so many branches that you could do. Ended up doing that. Thank God I did not look back, because I am very grateful that I went into that. And in knowing that I was probably disappointing my parents in the beginning, when they ended up finding out that I switched my major, come with the Latino mindset that it's very much like, if it's not in the medical field, you will never ever be successful. And that's just kind of the mindset that they have. But now, especially in graduating and what I did, they're so proud of me. They're so glad that I went into that, something that I liked, because that's the whole point of why they came here. And they couldn't be more happy in what I did. But in the beginning, it was for sure hard. And I look back and I was like, damn, I low-key had a lot of bravery. I had a lot of courage. I don't know. I did my big one there with that one, because it's like I took a risk, and in everyone saying no and being mad at me, I cheered myself on. I was like, you know what? If this ends up working out, if I like it, I should do it. I ended up doing it. So glad I did not look back. But that's one of those things where I realized, I was like, I was really, really brave. Long story short, I ended up graduating in that last May, and I haven't looked back, because it genuinely makes me happy. I don't care if I make the most money or I don't make the money, but I do not regret going into that major, because that is something that is making me happy, at least right now. It's something that interests me, and it wakes me up in the morning. And I'm very blessed and grateful to even have that in my life. But point in saying that is, even when the world says no, even when people are kind of putting buts, ifs, ands, or buts in whatever you want to do, if that feels right to you in your gut, do it. 2025 is not a year for you to slow down and being scared of being successful, because that is the longest thing that I had to kind of think about, because I was scared of being successful. Like, what if it ended up working out? Like, what if people talk? What if people make fun of me? I'm done with all that. Like, I genuinely am done with all of that, because how can I not chase something that I want? And my biggest fear, I will say, when I turn 50 is, when I turn 50 or 80 or whatever it is, I look back and I'm like, damn, did I live for other people's opinions and their approval of me? Hell no. Hell no. I think that's such an unsatisfying mindset to have. And if you, especially if you're a people pleaser, like that's a disservice to you and everyone around you if you are not chasing after what you want. We're going to try to not do that anymore. At least taking one step every single day to get you closer to their dream, whether that be big or small, and not caring about what anyone else thinks. I know it's easier said than done, saying, oh, don't care what anyone thinks. It takes work, it takes time, and it takes a lot of self reflection to kind of just figure out your pattern and how you think, because the way you think could be the difference between you and that other person that you think has like the dream life, has the dream everything. It's the mindset that separates you from that. And the mind is a very powerful thing to kind of implement that. Even self affirmations every single morning, it sounded like a cliche to me, but I truly do believe in them now because I've implemented them in my life. Success, whatever that looks like for you, people are always going to end up talking. That's just the human nature. I think, is it right? No. Is it healthy for some people? Yeah, but it's a normal thing that we humans always do. We're always going to gossip, we're always going to talk, and we're always going to have something to say about someone else. So why not do something that makes you happy and not care about what other people think? Because people are always going to talk. They're always going to talk and they're always going to have something to say, unfortunately. 25 is a year of doing what scares you the most, especially right now. Me doing this thing, being on camera, talking, people actually getting to know me a little bit more is scaring the hell out of me. But it's also making me really excited to just kind of have this platform to talk. And honestly, my ultimate goal for this is to make people feel a little less lonely in how they're feeling, because I think the world, or especially with social media, like a lot going on, it's so easy to get caught up in seeing what other people's lives are or what they look like. Like 99% of the time, people are always posting how good and great their life is, because that's what people want to show you. They post like what's the most amazing part of their lives out of like 99% of their day. They post that one thing that's good and that's all they have, because that's all they have. And I think it can be very, it can feel very lonely because everyone goes through some shit. I know I go through some shit, and I know I only post what I want people to see, which is the only good. Because why would I want people to see me cry? Like, why would anyone want to see anyone else cry? And I think it's that fear of being vulnerable on social media, because anyone could like tear you down or make you happy. And I think in that sense, it could feel very lonely. And in that case, that's why I always post the great parts of my life, when in reality, like that's only 1% of my day. And you don't, not a lot of people know the stuff that I go through because I don't want them to know. But that's also another kind of perspective that I want people to see, especially for 2025. I think being a little more kinder to yourself, setting intentions, being more vocal, and just being yourself unapologetically, because keeping yourself small is not going to get you anywhere in 2025. Nowhere at all. You'll be stuck in the same pattern over and over and over again. And I don't know about y'all, but another thing I've realized, I think in the past years, it's all about manifesting, setting intentions, writing it down, just manifesting, dreaming about it. And I know I would do this all the time. Yeah, I would literally cry at the sky, raining, be like, why isn't anything working out for me? Like, why aren't things working out for me right now? Like, why isn't this happening for me? Like, why is this happening? Why is this happening to me? And I realized in every situation throughout that whole time, I would manifest, 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 but I would never do the work. And that's that important part. And embarrassingly enough, I would never put in the work. I would never set the time apart, because if I could be not 8 9 hours of the day at my other job and then on the side not work on myself, how can I not do that? If I could work under someone else and do that amount of time, why can I not put that time to grind it out and work for myself? Like, why can I do that? That's also another thing that has been in my mind as of late, because we are not just manifesting this year, we are putting actions into our dreams and then setting time apart to work on it every single day, and not just manifesting and dreaming about it, because manifesting is only half of the work. Most of the other half is literally you putting in the work every single day into doing that. Like, what does that look like for you? Because there's already a version for you in the future waiting for you to just take that small step to lead you to that action that leads you to your idea of being successful. I don't think anyone's dreams are dumb. If that dream was planted in your head for a reason, I think it's there for a reason. And it's because that version of you in the future is already waiting for you to just claim it and grasp it and knows the potential that you can reach to that at the end of the day. It's like if you have that dream over and over and you can't stop thinking about it, do it. Take one small step, even if it's the smallest. I think it's important and it builds character into what you need to be doing. Things aren't happening to me, things are happening for me. And that shift of mindset that you have to think about, things are always happening for me at any given day or time, whatever that looks like, things are happening for me. I was like, damn, I'm going to keep myself small because I guess I'll eventually get there or I'll eventually do this to get me there. And there's a lot of procrastination. But I remember in the back of my mind, whoever you believe in, the universe, God, whatever that looks like for you, let's just say the universe in this case to have it be a little more generic and just to be applicable. But the universe, like something in me was saying, no, Sarah, you need to act now. You need to start taking actions now and stop being lazy and pick yourself back up. No more excuses in 2025. No more excuses. And it's okay if it doesn't happen in 2025. As long as you're taking those small steps every single day that gets you closer, success does not happen overnight. It happens with you putting in the small work every single day, no matter how that looks like. It happens with that small step. Even if you think it's not happening, even if you think that one action every single day is not taking you to that next level of like success, it is. Like trust me, it is. It's preparing you for that moment, and trust me, when you get to that moment, it's going to be like, wow. I truly do believe there's a version of you in the future that does believe that waiting for you to show up and claim that energy, that one small step or action could take you to that next level overnight. So you never ever know. I started a vision board. It's my first time ever doing a vision board. I was really excited this year to do it because now I feel like I'm the type of person that needs to have that shit hanging on a wall or looking at it every single day to kind of like push me into like what I want this year to be or to get me to my dream career, whatever that looks like. Um, and I'm really, really excited about it because I don't know about y'all, but a vision board has me like, oh my God, this is what I want. And it's making me accountable for what I've been saying. So here I am showing up. I hope y'all know I was shitting bricks right before this episode because like, oh my God, I'm gonna be so awkward. I'm gonna be so like, I'm not gonna sound good. Like, I'm gonna be awkward. I'm gonna be stuttering, and most of the time I am. I'm just hoping you guys don't notice it. But whoever's listened to this so far, I honestly really do appreciate y'all. And there'll be more episodes to come. I don't know, but I'm doing this right now because something in the universe, something in the air is telling me to do this, and it feels right. So that is what I'm doing for 2025. I feel like it makes me feel a little less lonely when people listen to it and maybe relate. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. But I'd be willing to make more episodes of these or something that you guys want to know more along the way. But that's what I've been getting into. As this episode comes to an end, I kind of want to reiterate my message with this. 2025 is not the year of being small or keeping small for the sake of other people or doing that, whatever that looks like. Challenge for you is to do one thing every single day, whether it be small or the hugest thing in the world. I want you to do one action every single day that takes you to that next level or takes you to that idea of what success looks like for you or what your dream career or job or whatever it is or whatever it looks like is. But with that being said, I will close out this podcast episode right now. Please leave comments or anything that you guys might like down there with this episode, whether you related to it or not. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.